Hello and welcome to the Year of Shame Challenge 2, Episode 12. I am, as always, your host Adam Ducker. And where would I be without my co-hosts, the man who invented gaming sadomasochism by playing long, boring and often games, it's Justin Smith. Hello, Justin.
Now, you have to clarify that and say that some of these games were gifted to me.
One of those games.
Yes.
Okay. And to round off our merry trio, where would we be without the man who, is it fair to say, for 11 months of the 12 months forgot that he was doing the Year of Shame? It's Colm Sheridan. Hello, Colm.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, wonderful.
So we're burning the midnight oil a little bit here. If by midnight you mean 4 a.m.
Midnight for you.
2 in the morning.
Oh, okay, 20 past 2. I thought it was worse. We'll see where we feel when we finish. So I guess we're going to move straight on to what have we been playing. And Justin, why don't you kick us off?
Okay, so games I have completed. Number 5 of the Assassin's Creed series. I completed Assassin's Creed 3.
Woo! So that's the last one you own currently?
That is the last one I currently have. So that's all on the PlayStation 3, and I do not have Liberations HD. I do not have Liberations on the Vita. I have no plans to pick them up, and I don't have plans to get Assassin's Creed 4 on PlayStation 3 or any other format which may be relevant. I also completed Tomb Raider, which that was actually I put out a vote to say I finished playing Assassin's Creed. What do people think I should play next? And I got a quite overwhelming response of go for Tomb Raider, and I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
Have you both played it? You've obviously played it, Adam.
Yeah, I did.
Colm?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you think?
Amazing. It's one of the reasons, actually, that I'm not that bothered that I probably won't get a PS4 for a long time, because it does such a good job of that, Uncharted genre, with a bit of horror and whatnot, that I'm not actually that fussed that I probably won't be playing the next Uncharted anytime soon.
And of course, being on the Xbox, you'll have the, this super early exclusive next Tomb Raider game.
Yep, the Rise of the Tomb Raider, is it called?
Yeah, because the one that's coming to PlayStation is like a follow-up to Guardian of Light or something like that.
Oh, yeah, the isometric top-down job, yeah.
Yeah. I'd agree with you. Very entertaining. I think I only took about 4 days to play through it, in total terms of sitting and, calendar days. And where it didn't have solid, chapters or anything like that, which you would get in an Uncharted game, it was very dynamic. You'd walk past a camp and stop and sit down, and you could think, oh, well, that's, that is a save point, but it was all dynamic saving. So, there was quite healthy amount of checkpoints, and it did have the draw that kept making me, interested on, well, what's going to happen next. And I didn't feel too disturbed by the infamous scene in it that upset a few people. But considering the version that I played at Eurogamer 2 years ago, I felt this was a better version, and obviously it was a complete game. So yeah, I really enjoyed that.
I think one point that we should make about is how emotionally they nailed the character of Lara Croft. There's a few bits where she thinks she might be about to escape from the island without spoiling too much, or have an opportunity to escape, and she kind of gets knocked back down to earth and stuff.
Well, it's more her shipmates, because for the story, for people that have not played it and assume, Colm, you hadn't played the original PlayStation Tomb Raider, had you?
The original?
Yeah,
played.
as in Tomb Raider back in the 90s.
No, I hated it.
Because you were a bit confused when I said, at what point does the dinosaur arrive?
I know, I knew the reference was, but I just maybe sound like I didn't, but I knew what you were talking about.
Yeah, but the point was, that was very much a style of game that was, routine back then, whereas this is much more, I suppose, a character-driven story. And it starts off, you're on a ship with a whole bunch of crew, and it gets caught in a storm, and basically there's a shipwreck, and you end up on the island with most of the crew. And then you split up, and things don't go particularly well. See, I was under the impression that you got to the island because of a plane crash. But it's just because the bit that I played at Eurogamer is when you're going around getting the bow, which is going across wreckages of planes and things, and that's when it turns out that there have been Japanese troops in the World War II had ended up there. So like you said, plane crash onto the island, and you traverse over the wreckage of it. So I didn't know that's how you got there.
Okay.
And you basically, you're trying to leave the island. So I was playing along, and I started thinking, but this isn't a Tomb Raider game. I'm not raiding any tombs. And then I was going along, and all of a sudden you get the little sound rings, and you get a little pop up at the bottom going, "There's a tomb nearby," and you're like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. And sure enough, I went into this cave, and I got a little challenge to get to the other side of the room, opened a crate, and it went, "You've successfully raided a tomb."
Yep, as easy as that.
I just thought, well, that be, it was fairly anticlimactic. It wasn't a hard challenge. I think of the probably 6 or 7 tombs that I did raid throughout the game, 2 maybe caused me to actually sit down and think about it. Some of them were quite obvious.
Don't you think that's a little bit like the ones that are in Assassin's Creed, where you're inside, like the crypts and stuff, and you're trying to traverse around?
Yeah.
And it's like kind of trying to make you think, but not really that difficult. So I kind of felt about that.
Certainly with Revelations, the tombs in that was they were a bit less obvious of how to get in them, let alone how to finish them. But they just seemed almost, just a side quest that you could completely skip, and you could go the whole game without raiding any tombs. So considering the game is obviously Tomb Raider, you do. Well, I got a sense of like, well, that was just it was just something that happened. It wasn't really part of the game.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. To be fair, optional tomb raiding.
So I finished that, and had to have a think on what to play next, and decided to go for the game which I talked about back in June of South Park: Stick of Truth. So I had left this game. I hadn't touched it because when my friend came down to stay, he was playing on it, and I pretty much watched him, and I found it enjoyable from watching someone else play it. And when I played it myself, it's one of these ones where you can pretty much collect all of the side quests right up front. And it even tells you that you're collecting some of the stuff for side quests, which you won't get until much, much later in the game. And you don't know why you're collecting it. But, for example, you go into a drawer in your bedroom and you pick up your underpants. And it puts up 1 of 5 sets of underpants has been collected. So you just suddenly think, okay, well, I've got to go around and collect underpants then. And it got to the point where I had collected 5 of 5 and nothing unlocked or anything like that. And it wasn't until, as I say, much later in the game where I suddenly got told, okay, I need you to go off and find me 5 pairs, which instantly I talked to him again. It's like, oh, you found them then? I always
Okay.
think that if you're going to have a quest system like that, you shouldn't be able to loot the item until you've been given the quest to loot it.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel don't World of Warcraft kind of do some things like that, where you may find that you have an item that's asked for later because you happen to have wandered off too
But
far, kind
only
of thing.
if it's a generic pickup. When it is actually a quest item, and it is flagged as quest item,
okay.
you can only get it when you've got the quest.
Yeah.
So I found the early stages, the bits that I'd watched, I found that all enjoyable. And then things go a bit mental after the end of the first day. And they proceed to get more and more mental as it goes. And I guess looking back at it, I could say, well, yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's like South Park. But then I then have to remind myself that I didn't really like South Park.
No, that's the one thing that's held me back. Like, I've kind of watched it in the past and thought it's alright, but I was never a massive fan of it.
There are inevitably in-jokes that fans of the show will get. And I've seen a few episodes, and there have been episodes on TV where I just haven't turned off the TV and just, mindlessly watched it, as opposed to made a point of sitting down and, thinking, okay, well, I'll pay attention to what's happening here. And yeah, some of these things do play in with the story, but I'm actually interested to know if you did play the game, how it plays out for you, because there were several moments in the game where it basically played like elevator hold music and then put, you've got the EU version, so we can't actually show you the bit that, there will actually be a mini game here.
Should be here.
That does this, and, it describes an event, and it says, but we're not allowed to show you. And then it'll cut back to the game, so you potentially have missed out on something. Now, I don't know if the North American version lets you play that, or whether it's just a bit of a gag of, we're telling you that something horrific or disturbing is happening, but we're actually not going to show you anyway.
A bit like, what the hell, Chef's Love Shack had a bit where one of them got, if you failed some of the games, you'd get anally probed, and it sort of cut it out, but it was pretty obvious what was happening.
You basically, you meet someone who is, one of the power-ups is an anal probe.
Oh, okay, so that's not that.
But you don't see the insertion of it.
Okay.
But perhaps you might do if you were in North America.
Well, it's on my list of games to potentially pick up when I see it cheap, so I guess I'll have to let you know.
It did that probably about 5 or 6 times. It started saying, we can't show you this, but this is a hilarious thing that you would have been able to take part in. And, proceeding to narrate what should be happening. And, just gets progressively weirder and gets to the point where you finish the game. Well, I finished the game and I just kind of thought, thank goodness that's over, because it's got a bit too disturbing. It became less and less enjoyable as I went through. But then I found, because I'd done a lot of the side quest bits, because you get them right at the start of the game, the second half of the game as I was playing it was fairly streamlined. And as I mentioned to you earlier, there is a nice segment where you go off to Canada.
Yeah, and you sent me a picture of the hilarious map that's in there.
It's all a top-down map like that, and then when you go into one of the towns, you talk to all the people who, as South Park depicts, their top half of the head moves rather than the mouth. And then you go off and meet Terrence and Philip and learn how to fart.
Lovely.
Yeah. So, finished that. And that was the last game that I properly finished. The game that I've been playing heavily since picking it up on PlayStation Plus was Velocity 2X on the Vita.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, I can't play the PS4 version of it. So yeah, I've been playing it on the Vita. I did play Velocity Ultra on the Vita, which is the one that we gave away the codes for previously.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And yeah, I'm
Hooked again.
well. I was on Skype with Colm earlier, and I was a little bit, I wouldn't say addicted, but, well, obsessed with actually getting the perfect on the level I was doing. And 50 minutes later, I had done it. Just trying to shave 1 second off my time and stuff like that. And it's just the way you have to memorize the layout of the level to teleport around and, what order you need to activate switches and stuff. But considering I mentioned previously that Future Lab had made a point of having an embargo on and everything to raise the profile of their game, seeing the praise they were getting, a lot of people giving it a go because of it going on PlayStation Plus. I watched the live stream when they launched the event and when they launched the game, and there was loads of people just kept joining the chat room and saying, why have you decided to put it on PlayStation Plus on launch day? Is that not a counterintuitive move? And they turned around and said, well, no, because the thing is, if Sony approach you and as an indie developer and say, we'd like to offer you a fixed amount of money to put the game on Plus.
Yeah.
And then you have to weigh up, do you expect to make more than that on sales? Or do you go, I will take the money and I will be grateful that people are playing my game, and that's what they decided to do. So they were happy, and I'm enjoying it, and I hope other people are.
It's not just that lump sum of money, I guess. People may go back and play the other games. They may buy future games of theirs if it ever comes to other platforms.
And they said that with Velocity Ultra, everyone that played it enjoyed it, or at least everyone that gave feedback enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But they didn't really get a total share of people playing the game because it was something that was dismissed by a lot of people, whereas this was one of the more marketable games of being a cross-buy game on the Plus, and a lot more people got access to it, particularly with the PlayStation 4, because you have to have Plus to be online now. So, they got the game out to people that perhaps wouldn't, as you say, wouldn't have heard of them.
Yeah.
And last night I started The Last of Us. So I have just got as far as meeting Ellie.
Oh, okay, so
I'm apparently 15% of the way done, though.
Yeah, a reasonable amount to it, but also not too far.
Yeah, I mean, considering the game is marketed as it's Joel and Ellie, to play for an hour and a half and then only just meet her, you kind of think, well, I'm guessing that there's a lot more to come, and it's going to be one of these ones that gives you a lot of percentage to just get that far, but then it drags out the middle section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's dragged out. You're going to enjoy every minute of it. There's not a single bit where it feels like it's dragging, but I'd say there's more than, 85% left at the same rate of time, if that makes sense.
And that's me. So my total amount of beaten games that I have finished by today, 27th, well, it is now for us, 27th of September. From starting the year to now, I have completed 38 games, and that's not including the 6 games which I abandoned because they basically had an unfinishable mechanic, so they were either score chasers or just there was no way to finish it. So I guess in total, I probably, if I add those in, that's 44 games that I, so say, finished, and I've got a perfect on 32 out of the 50 levels on Velocity 2X. So hopefully before Wednesday, if I really put my mind to it, I might finish that one.
Like tonight.
Definitely not tonight. So that's me. Awesome. Colm, your games played list looks a bit small.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
I spent more time buying than playing. That's the trouble.
Oh, jeez. It's one of those months again, is it?
We did get an early email.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I completed Ghost on Xbox One.
Is that what, Call of Duty?
Yeah, Call of Duty
Right.
Ghost, yeah. And Dragon Age Origins, finally completed it.
What did you think of that last fight? That last fight, which took me hours to finish until I dropped the difficulty and did it on the first attempt.
Yeah. Well, my difficulty had dropped all the way, so it didn't matter. I just basically discovered that there was these Balkans, is it?
You have
Balkans.
the ballistas, the giant catapult.
Ballistas, yeah. So I just put each person on each one and just kept firing.
Yeah.
That worked.
Well, of course, I kept telling you...
Worked for me, anyway.
I told you, make sure you've got a rogue when you go to that fight.
Yeah, I had that.
Because they break. And if you're playing on normal, they break quickly. And you can't repair them unless you've got a rogue.
Yeah.
So, that's why when I played it the first time, I just kept trying and do it over and over again, and I couldn't repair them. And, of course, I was playing as a wizard, which was the hardest class to do anyway, so in the end, I had to take the easy option. But, are you happy with the resolution of the way the game ended for you? Because you get completely different endings depending on what events you've let play out.
Yeah. Well, I was happy with it. Yeah. I was happy enough, but I was just relieved to finish it, really. But I did enjoy it, But the last boss battle was a pain until I realised the workaround.
Yeah.
Because you'd get to about halfway killing the dragon, and then the rest of them Muppets would come out and just annihilate you in
the
2 seconds flat.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, so it just kept really getting on my wick. So I just.
But if you've got allies, they do join the fight, don't they?
Yeah, I had allies. They were just getting slaughtered. And what happened was, before I got to the final boss battle, I used up a lot of the elves. They were good at the old. I used up a lot of them. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it now.
So would it make you laugh if I told you that bearing in mind I was a mage, my party when I went into that was dog, and and I didn't have Alistair. I had the guy that has the big two-handed sword that you rescue because he's locked up in a prison.
Oh yeah.
And I think I left the woman mage because every time I tried to use her as a healer, she just would burn all her mana in the first 10 seconds of the fight and then be useless. So I decided to be the healer myself. Yeah.
Well, I used to.
Sten,
you can swap.
That his name? The guy?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But no, I just swap between them. Most of the time, I'd be the healer. Just healing the rest of them while they battled it out. But yeah, it was a great game. It took me 5 years to finish it, but there you go.
It's a long
50
game.
Hours.
Have
50 hours.
Have you played any of the Mass Effect games?
Oh yeah.
And how did you find the characters interacting in this compared to that? Because I personally much preferred the way they had their own little conversations as you're walking around the towns. Because Mass Effect, it only really happens when you're in a lift.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I preferred it, yeah. This one.
Because I played it as a female, and I was friendly with everyone. It gets to the point where they start saying, you have to pick, is it me or is it that person? And I had Alistair, and I had, was it Morgana? And as we're walking around one of the towns, he starts saying to her, so, how do you approach a woman and tell her that you have some affection for her and all this? They start having, and then she's winding him up about being a virgin and all. It's just the little conversations they had. I thought that really added a depth of realism to the game that could so easily have not been there.
Yeah. The characters are great, like, in it. What the decisions you make and all that stuff was very enjoyable. So he didn't end up marrying your woman anyway.
Oh, the Queen.
No, because we didn't spare. I didn't spare her father, so, and then she was locked up in the dungeons, and she was thankful for that. So
I'd rather be locked up than married. Nice. That is a completely different ending to what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Alistair was king, and everything was happy. And
did you execute the mages, or did you keep them?
No, I kept them.
Okay.
I wasn't that cruel. Why did you?
Well, I was a mage, so yeah.
You
had a vested interest.
But they, when you go into the mage tower, I'm sure that you have the option of like basically taking over them, and I chose to stay with the Grey Wardens.
Yeah.
Do you fancy playing Dragon Age 2, or are you gonna just keep an eye out for Inquisition?
Yeah, I have the Dragon Age 2 on the PS3, so I don't know whether I get to play it, but I would like to play it before I play the next one, just to so I say I played them all, you know. But we'll wait and see. So that was basically it for me. What I finished wise, anyway, and I'll get to the rest of the stuff later. All right,
Okay.
Adam.
So, as I said a few months back, I got a copy of Tomb Raider gifted to me by my brother-in-law, the definitive edition. Having already played it, I wasn't too bothered about playing it, so my friend wanted to borrow it, so he kindly swapped it with me for a copy of Rise, which I completed.
Them button presses.
A good game, a very pretty looking game. Was it just
a one big QuickTime event game? Because that's how it was marketed.
No, that's not fair to it. To be honest, it has a robust combat system. It's not as complicated as, say, something like a God of War. You have a shield and a sword, and that's it all the way through. You do have some spears occasionally. Doesn't have any puzzles really, aside from like moving a car out of the way when you're in a marketplace from time to time. It's a really good game. It's a shame that Crytek have had some problems and we might never see another one, because I think deep down there's a good game in there, or the core of a good franchise and stuff. But yeah, if you ever get a chance to play it, it's worth playing.
How did you find the connect with it?
I didn't use it once. You can use it. So there's some bits where you kind of along with fighting, you're also commanding an army, and you can shout at the screen to get it to like hurl arrows at walls and stuff. But I didn't bother. You can just do it with the button presses instead.
Yeah,
I was quite happy to not use it, to be honest. Not a fan of shouting at the TV unnecessarily. So yeah, due to personal stuff, i.e. wedding, that was actually the only game I finished in the entire month. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag on and off, but there's just too much to do. I'm getting to the point where I'm thinking of turning all the side mission markers off on the map so they don't come up, so I could just get on with the story and finish it. You're constantly sailing through the sea and bumping into a new island or something new by the side of the sea, or a new fish to go catch, or this or that. And I must have played it for about 40 hours, and I'm only 30% way into the story.
It is the nature of those games.
So yeah, it's a good game. Yeah, exactly. It's the Ubisoft open world game.
See, I found with 3, the first almanac page that I tried chasing, and it disappeared right in front of me, and then it just went, yeah, come back later and you can have another go at chasing it across the rooftops, where every time you get on a rooftop, someone's going to shoot at you. I just thought, do you know what? No. I'm not doing that. And I don't think I even really bothered doing anything with the recruits. I just left them to it.
No, you don't need to.
And it made the game go a lot easier, but the characters were just dollars anything. You had no empathy for them, or you did not care for their quest.
Oh yeah, I'm doing some side quest at the minute for some little twerp that I could not care less about. I don't even know where he's from. And then there's
but you've got to admit though, the whole how you're in the Animus thing, that's just dumb. Because Because I know enough about Assassin's Creed 4 to know that obviously Assassin's Creed 3 is the Desmond trilogy and that ends. So you obviously can't pursue that storyline.
So,
but yeah, I've heard
there's a conceit
how you get into the.
There's a conceit as to what Abstergo actually is at this point in time. It's kind of ridiculous, yeah.
From what I gather, you'll find it gets worse as well.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. The only thing I do like about it, and I guess the first one did this, is it's in first person when you're out of the Animus. So it's actually like when you're in the Animus, you're controlling the life of this other person. When you're out of it, you're kind of seeing it through your own eyes, which is kind of interesting. But you're not doing a whole lot, just wandering around pressing buttons, finding post-it notes or something, or QR codes, I can't remember. Something useless. Another thing to collect. So I only played one other game this month, but there is a story to tell you before I tell you how I came to play it. Have you guys ever heard of the website Steam Roulette?
No.
No, but I'm worried this is going to be your new rabbit hole.
Okay. So, basically, you go to steamroulette.com, you punch in your Steam username, and you press a little button and a roulette wheel spins, and it tells you what game you should play next. And I was like, I think my girlfriend was watching some junk on the TV, so I was like, right, I'm not really playing anything at the minute. I'm going to start a new game, and I will definitely play whatever the first choice of game is. So I sit, wait for it to load everything in, click. There's a few things you can click, so I click single player games, and I decided I want to play something that can be played with a controller. Do that, set all those filters up, it repopulates the list, hit spin that roulette wheel, and what comes up? Bully. Scholarship edition.
Classic.
Not a word of a lie.
So did you spin the wheel again?
I spun the wheel again. I was like, F that, I'm not doing this. I'm not putting myself through that again. And flashbacks to the mission I got stuck on.
What you have to do is delete it from your library, or it will do it again to you.
Yeah, probably. So anyway, the game it settled on next was SteamWorld Dig. And what a delightful little game that is. I think you played it, Colm.
Yes, I did, yes.
Yeah. So basically, it's almost like Dig Dug, but with a bit more to it. Like you're constantly going down, digging down until you can't dig any further, do a bit of exploring, get some loot, go back up to this town. And you play a little scrappy robot, and all the other robot characters you bump into are kind of cute and funny. Really enjoying it. Only a couple of hours in. Definitely going to finish it. From what I understand, it's not too long. And that is all I have legitimately been playing, shall we say. My current beaten total is 39 games, which is lower than I thought it'd be when you consider the task that we put before ourselves. To have only knocked 38 off the backlog. I was hoping for 50.
Yeah, let's not try and count how many games we picked up one way or another.
Exactly. So, thanks, Justin. You just gave me a segue. Let's talk about what we have picked up. And you, my friend, can go first.
Oh, thanks for that. Okay, let's have a look then. So, I picked up... well... You see, there was a discussion on the last show about a certain box that may have been available and may not have been available come the end of the month.
Yeah.
And my friend Colm over there and Darren, who was, giving us a run for our money as the host, they seem to think it would be okay if I was to obtain something that, if it wasn't opened until next Wednesday, the 1st of October, then there's no harm in it just being on the floor in my living room rather than behind a counter in a shop, which may, if it might get sold. So, with the fact that following putting the show out, we had the first email from Stuart Cullen, Fury Ace, saying, "Christ, man, just buy the bloody white PS4." And, I decided to
buy it.
To make sure that I secured the package.
Mm-hmm.
And the package is still sealed. I can show you. I can put on the camera and show you that it is still sealed, should you not believe me. But yes, it's currently adorning the spare chair in the living room. And
I guess its own chair.
Well, it's actually on the floor next to the chair. The chair's filled with laundry.
Oh, okay.
But, that's just because I'm now officially on holiday. So I've got stuff to do. And you may remember that a couple of months ago I bought the Mario Kart bundle for Elaine Stryker in America. And, well, Hyrule Warriors got released. And that one was another of these games where each territory had its own limited edition. If you got the Japanese limited edition one, you got this really nice looking like Triforce clock. If you bought the European limited edition one, you got a scarf.
Okay.
With the Hylian crest on it. That's what is on the it's around Link's neck on the cover.
Excuse me, let's not delve away from the main story here, please. Can we stick to the PS4, please?
I'm getting there. And so I needed to help her get hold of this, and as was the way with the Mario Kart situation, I got the game in, and that's ready to go off next week. But it did leave me with a Wii U game that needed to be exchanged for some sort of goods and services. And
goods and services.
Yes.
Make it sound so tacky.
So bearing in mind that a couple of weeks ago, Adam, you sent me some money to pick up Diablo 3, and I did. On the last month's show said I would probably just hold off and get it on the PS4. Well, so the PS3 amount that you gave me obviously didn't pay for the PS4 version, so I exchanged the this Wii U game for the extra amount I needed, and
okay. So you sold the game to somebody?
I sold the game for a nominal value, which allowed me to get the PlayStation 4 Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls edition. And because I ordered it brand new off eBay, rather than going off Amazon, it meant that I had a little bit of credit left over, which I managed to secure a brand new copy of Killzone 4 still sealed for about £8. So, yes, I now have Killzone Shadowfall, Diablo 3, and Destiny with the PlayStation 4.
Wow, you are going to be one busy boy come Wednesday. No wonder you're on holiday.
So the key thing there is I didn't spend any money out of my own pocket for the extra games. The PlayStation bundle obviously did come out of my savings, but people tried to say to me, if you pay for it on a credit card, then you don't pay off your credit card till the following month, so technically you haven't bought it till the following month. I said, sod that, look, I've already got the money, and it's still sealed, and I had enough encouragement to say, just get it and, make sure that you've got what you want.
Yeah.
So, that was basically everything I picked up. Now, I had hoped that next Wednesday is the 1st of October, and it would be the first Wednesday of the month. So it made sense that was going to be PlayStation Plus update day, but they've obviously decided that they're going to push it back a week, presumably because the Tuesday prior is still September, and that Tuesday is when North America updates, so they obviously want to do them one day after another. And so I'll have a week of playing games on the PlayStation, on the new one, before I get more free games with Plus.
Yeah. Do you know what those games are yet, or have they not said?
No, they haven't announced it. They're going to announce it next Wednesday, what they're going to be.
Okay.
So I do have 12 months worth of Plus content, which I've been, banking as we've gone. But I don't really.
The likes of Resogun and
well,
stuff.
that's it. I think Resogun, maybe Fez. Might try that. There's a few things that I might give a go, but I don't think anything's really saying rush and download me.
Don't Starve, no, that's a good game, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got that. I might try that Outlast, that scary game that had a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a good game.
Messing their pants. I could try that Silent Hills demo as well.
Yeah,
but it's going to be an interesting week next week, and I'm glad that I'm off work to spend time. Yeah, I'll be looking forward to joining the new generation next week.
Oh yeah, obviously Destiny is your main go-to game, Justin. No?
Well, that's the one that comes with the console, and I'm going to at least entertain enough hours to get up to level 20. And as I linked to you earlier, they've just patched out this. Apparently, there's some sort of loot cave that people have been exploiting, and they've patched that out. But there's also supposed to be a bug where every time you get a drop, you decode it into something and it's all like broken. So is it engrams or something that
engrams? Yeah.
And now if you get a purple engram, you're supposed to get a purple weapon, kind of thing. So it's supposed to actually be working, but if you read the patch notes for it, it's actually quite funny because it says, it gets to the bottom and it said everything that you've got that you haven't already cashed in is going to be automatically downgraded to a rare item next week anyway. And then it had in brackets, but let's face it, that's all they ever were anyway. In other words, we know that it was broken and we've just taken this long to fix it.
Yeah, all that stuff sounds a bit of a mess. Like they've also said they're going to rejig how the post-20 loot stuff works, because they've realised if people were resorting to doing that cave thing, then it's kind of, if that's more preferable than actually playing the game properly, there's something wrong with the system kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I haven't researched enough into the game, but from what I gather, you play normally until you get to level 20, and then at that point you only level up through picking up gear.
Yeah, like I think I think the items can give you a different level. The more, once you get the items, you add to level each time or something for each new rare item you get or something.
All I know is I'm sick of seeing people posting pictures of their character on Twitter.
And they all look the same.
Yeah. It's like when everyone was putting up pictures of, this is me in front of the moon. Like, yeah, okay. So I've got that, and Nearly 84 is waiting to get on and play Diablo 3 on co-op with me, so
awesome.
We'll have a bit of time on that. But I've still got plenty of games on the PlayStation and on the Vita that will be occupying my time. I'll be finishing Last of Us before I sink too much other time into things. Cool. Yeah, that's what I picked up, and that's how I obtained them.
So, Colm, when Justin sold you this game, did you feel taken advantage of, or were you willing and able to just spend the money?
Excuse me, you're jumping the gun there. What makes you think that I sold it to Colm?
I'm just assuming.
Well,
because I know Colm likes a bargain.
I do like a bargain. You know me too well. Well.
So, Colm,
I was willing and able, as they say. I wasn't forced into anything whatsoever.
To be fair, I approached Colm and I said, "Look, I've got this game. Would you be willing?
I know you like buying
Would
games.
You be willing to to negotiate on a charge, I will make sure that you pay less than the full retail value. And sure enough, not only did Colm get the game quite surprisingly quickly, but Nintendo also emailed me a download code for, I'm guessing it's some sort of like character skin or something like that. Which obviously I emailed across to the good man there.
Yeah. And in my patiently waiting for certain members to drive their wives home this evening, I downloaded the DLC pack. Excuse me, but let's not talk about that yet. Anyway, yeah, so what have I picked up? Well, we all know what I've picked up now. I sent in my last Colm's Confessions. Do you want me to read it out? Will I read it out? Okay.
Sure. Yeah, it'll make life easier for what you've picked up.
Hi, lads. Well, lads, it's been a pleasure. I've had some low points and high points. More low than high, to be honest. Lows where I failed my challenge. But I've had a great time doing the podcast with both of you. No, I've no favourites. You both have been very patient and generous to me over the last 12 months. 12 months, time flies when you're having fun and still buying games. I've made some great friends on Twitter over the last year, like Howard, Kev, Stuart. Thanks for the game, mate. I will never forget Retribution. Justin Knowles, to name but a few. So alas, I have one more confession to make. I was blackmailed into buying a certain Wii U game from a good friend of mine. No names. This certain person required Diablo 3 to be sitting under his TV with his new shiny console by the 1st of October. So I decided to make a donation for a great cause. For this donation, I was gifted Hyrule Warriors for the Wii U. And I was going to say, apart from that, I've bought no other games, despite the fact that Steam had a great weekend sale last weekend. But I have fallen off the wagon again. And I picked up Fantasy Life today on the DS.
Oh.
Fabulous game.
How much of it have you played?
I'm only in about 2 hours of it.
I've been considering getting it for Extra Life this year.
Yeah, it's great.
I don't want to stare at the TV.
It's a great game. So far, it's like it's got the charm of Animal Crossing, and it's the characters, loads of characters, lots of stuff to collect, and so forth. The currency is Dosh. So
nice.
So I picked that up this morning for my last year of shame, and basically, due to public demand, more due to my abysmal failure from YoS 2, I am going to continue with YoS 3 challenge starting on the 1st of January 2015, which seems like a long way away. But I have some followers who will be joining me, enthusiastic volunteers actually.
Wow, okay.
Edward's grandson at VDOM.
It's Connor from the Joypad and Me podcast.
Grant. Matt Glue at Math_G. And our old friend Howard at Welch Benno. I had to take some convincing to get him to join, but he's on board now, so.
We know history shows with Howard, he can do 6 months of a challenge and then he goes absolutely mentally crazy.
I cannot wait for the month where he buys like 2 because it's going to happen. We could do a sweepstake, right? Should we get it on record now? What month do we think Howard will go mental in?
Oh, April.
I'm going to say May.
Oh, good.
I think Easter's a good shout.
Yeah, that's when he went crazy.
The excuse will be the lad wanted a game.
Yeah, for an Easter present.
Just to... I mentioned Connor there for you. Connor's starting his Year of Shame now. So he will already be 2-3 months deep by the time that you start your new show.
Yeah. So, I'm looking forward to it. And,
I'm looking forward to it.
So thanks very much, Justin and Adam. It was a great experience doing a podcast with both of you, even though I took 11 months to buy a fairly decent mic. Thanks very much. And
it's been great and fun, mate.
Yeah.
It's been fun. We'll get some more.
So that's it.
Stuff later,
that's my last college confessions.
So Colm, did you buy anything else, I guess?
Did I buy anything else? Is that not enough?
Did you obtain anything else?
Yeah, sorry, we don't buy things.
They just fall into my lap.
He had enough of a beating when Darren came on the show last week.
Yeah, he did. To be fair, actually, Darren gave you like the rollicking that Terry should have given.
Yeah. Well, I was expecting that. So,
yeah.
And I just like to thank Welsh Benno and its All Stars for donating 2 games each for me. Howard donated the 11th hour and the 7th guest, and the All Stars donated Orcs Must Die and The Legend of Grimlock. Thanks very much, lads. To further my year of shame, I completed 35 games as opposed to the 2 lads with 38 and 39, and I'm sure I've nearly picked up as much.
I think you picked up more. I'm sorry.
See, I sometimes think I picked up more games than you because I was the one that was always reading what PlayStation Plus games I got, and you were just going, "Yeah, I got those as well."
See, if you think, so let's do the math. It's like 3 or 4 games a month.
I only bought 2 this month.
12 months, that's 48 games on PlayStation Plus.
It's 2 on the PS3, 2 on the PS4, and 2 on the Vita.
Exactly. So then you do, then plus what you bought, Colin, you've probably done about triple. You've probably got about 90 games.
And don't forget games with gold.
Yeah. Okay, that's another 2 a month. That's another 24 games.
So all the more reason to redeem myself for next year.
I can't wait for it, I'm going to be honest. I'm looking forward to just being a listener. It's going to be one hell of a ride.
Okay, Adam.
Okay, so.
Speaking of games of gold.
Speaking of games of gold, I didn't get anything. Because they carried Crimson Dragon over for a second month. And then they added Super Time Force, which I'd already got with the points the missus gave me over Easter. So I didn't get any games. And then next month looks a bit crap because they've carried Crimson Dragon over into a third month.
Is that because it's so bad that they want to make sure everyone and their best mate have played it?
Yeah, probably. My friend who's beaten it says it's the most boring, crappiest game ever. But you can beat it in like 3 hours. But it looks abysmal. I don't think I'll ever play it. I don't know. There's been better games that are on it that they could have left up there, like Max Curse of Brotherhood. Leave that up for 3 months, if anything.
Yeah.
So the next month's some game, I can't even remember, some new release, some physics-based puzzler thing. So anyway, I did, however, bank Halo Reach on the 360 because I thought it's a classic. I've noticed 360 prices are tumbling here. You can now get one for about $80 used. So I may pick up one day, so I may as well start banking these 360 games. Certainly the ones that are classics.
Well, yeah, but are you not thinking, though, if you're thinking Halo games, are you not going to be going Master Chief Collection and then holding out for the inevitable ODST/Reach remakes?
I probably will get Master Collection, and then I think they came out recently and said it does make sense to remake ODST and Reach at some point. But yeah, it's there to bank anyway. I mean, Halo games aren't all that long, so if I do end up playing it, it's pretty easy to get through. So, next up. So, got married, not to bang on about it too much. And I drove a lot of people around and stuff whilst they were here, visiting from England. And some of them were kind enough to give me money towards gas, or petrol as you would call it.
Right,
Now I thought, what am I going to do with this cash?
pay for petrol.
Pay for petrol would make sense. But no, I went to Best Buy, went and bought myself a Xbox Live gift voucher. On my way to buying the Xbox Live gift voucher, I was like, oh, there's Destiny. I had $20. I had $20 left over so I paid for the gift voucher and still had $20. And I was like, what's $50? And just picked up Destiny as I walked to the till and bought it without even thinking.
Do you feel dirty?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
You feel like me, don't you?
Yeah. So I did that, basically. And Colm already knew about this because he saw me playing on Xbox Live and asked me how I got it. And I was like, that'd be terrible. So that's how I got it. I basically paid $50 for it. I'm feeling a lot of remorse. It was one of those things. It was on, and obviously you've been past it when it was in the regular aisle, and it was on one of those little islands where they try and tempt you, like, what's it called? Switch and bait, right near the till. And I was in the queue, and I just picked it up and just carried on walking without even thinking. Because I was like, I've still got $20 cash here, it's fine.
Yeah.
So I handed over my cash, and then paid for the rest of it on my debit card. So yeah, I did that. So that's why I'm a bit more knowledgeable about Destiny, Justin, because I played it.
See, I was watching on Comedy Central. They had an old stand-up sketch with Ed Byrne on there, and he said, your marriage, when you get married, you have your wedding gift list. He said, now, there are some things that it's acceptable to have on a wedding gift list, and there are some things which, apparently, are not acceptable gifts. Like Xbox 360 games. They can go on the list, but as soon as your wife-to-be finds out, they suddenly disappear.
That's it.
She even took things that we could have had on the list off. Let alone games. Like gadgets for the kitchen that we didn't need. So I had no hope of getting any Xbox games.
So you sorted yourself out anyway?
Yeah, basically. And so I deserve this. Honestly, not getting into it too much. The wedding day was great, but all the driving my family around and stuff was a pain in the ass. We eventually rented a car. Because they didn't rent a car in the run-up to the wedding, so it was like, there's no point. We're not going to get any use out of it for like the 2-3 days around the wedding. I was like, it's fine. I can drive you all around. Until we realised that there was too many people to all fit in one car. So it basically meant I had to take every trip twice. So it was pretty tiring.
Was it planned that your brother stayed a bit longer?
No, he was always staying in Canada for longer. He wasn't staying with me for longer. I don't even know how to get started. This is a topic. We could get into it if we want to. I mean, it's up to you guys. He won't listen.
I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Okay. So, 2 days before the wedding, I heard that he split up with his girlfriend. I'm like, sorry about that. So his girlfriend who's coming to the wedding with him and is staying for him for 3 weeks, and they were going to go travelling around Canada after the wedding. So I'm like, okay, that sucks. Like, let me know what you want to do. You can stay here, blah, blah, blah. They land. She's here. Because apparently she decided, you can't stop me from coming.
Sweet.
Like Adam and Becky and want to show my respects and stuff. And like still turn up for the wedding. So she came, caused an awful atmosphere, came to the wedding day, and made it really awkward. So then she eventually left not long after the wedding, and he had nowhere to go, so he came and kipped on the sofa.
So did you have some local co-op then?
No. We did play something else because I haven't finished talking about what I picked up.
God, dear God, this is getting worse.
Because he used to be very geeky when we were children. N64 era, we used to play everything, and he kind of grew out of it, which was kind of cool. His girlfriend's misery kind of brought us together, and we played some video games, which we haven't done for maybe 7 or 8 years, maybe even longer.
Cool.
So cheers for coming and messing everything up and then leaving, and then things were all right.
So
there's the story.
So you mentioned that you've not finished telling us what you picked up.
So I got my Xbox voucher and I was like, right, cash that in. And instead of buying some games, I was like, why buy just one game with a voucher when I could buy access to like 7 games?
Now you feel dirty.
Oh, you should be feeling scruffy at this stage.
No, because this is still with the gas money, technically. That should have gone towards gas, but whatever.
Okay.
So I bought EA access, guys, with the gas money, thinking there's some lovely games in there. They added Need for Speed Rivals, which was a game I wanted for a while. There's also Battlefield in there, so I was like, at the very least I could play the single player of that. Then I got thinking, knowing that Justin was picking up a Destiny bundle, I was like, what if I spent cash and pre-ordered FIFA 15? Then I could play the 6-hour trial and just not play the regular version until after the challenge. So I played my 6-hour trial. That's what I played with my brother. And then, yeah, kind of when the game got released, started playing the actual game. But, to be fair, so there's another layer to this, though. I thought the game didn't come out till today. So then I was like, well, today, and then it'll be a few days, and I'll be fine. I won't miss it. But turns out it came out on Tuesday in America and Canada. So it's been staring me in the face since Tuesday, and I cracked on Tuesday. So, your illustrious leader had a terrible last month.
You weren't here last month to get the grilling, were you? And you've made up for it.
Yeah. Good thing I'll probably never have to speak to Darren. I would be screwed. So yeah. So FIFA 15 is really good.
I'm sure it is.
And that's what I played with my brother, and we had a really good time. It's been years. It brought back memories of ISS on the N64.
I've heard the defence is broken again, though. That they've made it very much attacking.
Yeah. There's a lot of weird things about it. They've kind of tried to fix goalkeepers and then also made them worse in some respects. Passing's better.
Yeah.
They've improved the momentum of the ball. Feels more weighty again. They seem to be getting that better and better every year.
Dribbling is good.
Yeah, the new dribbling's good. You can, even if you don't know any skill moves, you can still weave in and out of players and stuff. So I'm probably going to spend a lot of time playing that. That's it. That's all I picked up, guys. I'm sorry. I let you down at the last hurdle. But I got married, so...
Yeah, that was your target. That was your reason for doing the challenge.
Yeah.
Exactly. And all this crumbling happened after the wedding, to be fair. Like 3 days. It was 3 days after.
Didn't one of you guys officially start your challenge early, though?
I did, yeah. 1 month early.
Yeah, I have to work. I tried to work it out and couldn't. Trying to backdate when I actually last paid cash for a game, and it was around, like, now. So... I can't really nail down the actual date. I tried to look through my backlog and it doesn't add up.
Before Eurogamer, and so I could say I've done my year right now, but I've said from the 1st of October. I'm with.
Crack open Destiny.
I'm not opening earlier.
I expect to see an unboxing on Wednesday morning.
No, Wednesday morning? Mate, it will still be Tuesday for you when I open it.
You're going to be at midnight, aren't you? Yeah. All right. 7 p.m. for me. 7:01. I'll be seeing pictures on Twitter of you like a little kid on Christmas.
Seriously, though, I do want to know how big it is to know like what needs to get moved away from the TV. Because I'm going to be somewhat limited for space.
I'm sure you could just Google it and you'll see the specs online, you know.
Get a tape measure out. Find a similar sized cardboard box and put it there.
Well, anyway.
Okay.
Speaking of Destiny, anyway, I did get a land of Destiny, and to be honest with you, I wasn't that impressed with it.
I'm going to be honest. Since I got FIFA, I haven't touched Destiny.
I wasn't that impressed. A friend in work, he has it. Basically, in the job I'm working, they got an Xbox One for, put in one of the rooms or whatever, and he plays it now and again. And I just couldn't be bothered. was Halo. It's just FPS. It's Borderlands. It's Mass Effect rolled into one. Yeah. Couldn't be bothered. I wasn't impressed with it now, to be honest.
I think the core combat's fun. It's whether you want to put all that time.
Yeah.
I'm a former World of Warcraft player, so, you know.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it.
You're going to lap it up, yeah.
I'll play it till the end game content, at the very least. You know, I'll get... You know me. I'll get my time out of the game.
Oh, you will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, so, without further ado, guys, we will move on to missing stuff. So, guys, what have we been missing? For once, I'm going to be the one that steps out and says, I've been far too busy, and then I went mental, so I have no right to miss stuff. So, see, Colm, I tar myself with the same brush as you.
Oh, dear. The shame of it.
The shame.
I'm dragging you down with me.
When does the year of 3 start? Should I get signed?
January the 1st.
Okay. So, Justin, what have you missed?
For me, well, nothing really. As I say, I'm anxious to open the PlayStation and start downloading the inevitable day one OS patch that I'm going to need. Download all the updates for all the games that I've got. Just get myself in a position where I can actually use the damn thing. Everyone knows you buy a console these days, you take it home, you turn it on, and it'll go, I need to update the whole operating system, and it's going to be locked up.
Yeah.
So, that's as far as missing stuff. That's it for me. I mean, I guess I'll probably say a lot more when we get to thoughts and feelings than now, but I'm not missing anything really. Just missing the days ticking off faster on the calendar.
More pining than missing.
Yeah, but then I'm occupied. I mean, Colm said to me earlier, he was like, I don't know how you can just sit there with that box and not open it. I'm like, well, you know, I'm playing other things. I'm keeping us up.
Keeping busy.
And, it just means that I'm not missing stuff. I mean, my argument is, I've got it. Yeah, I'm just not salivating over it now because it's where it needs to be.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Colm?
Just gonna miss you guys and the podcast. Really, can't really say I'm gonna miss not buying games. I probably won't buy as
not pretending to not buy games.
I probably won't buy as many games now that the year's over. So it'll probably be. It'll have the opposite effect for me, but I wouldn't put my money on that either, so we'll wait and see.
Cool. Thanks for that. That's a nice little way to end our last missing stuff. So we will go straight on to thoughts and feelings. Justin, I think you and me kind of have some similar things in here, actually.
Well, what I was kind of alluding to suggest I've got some big thoughts and feelings. I think we're all going to share the thoughts of appreciation for the support we've had, or mockery
definitely.
we've had from the listeners. But I guess the thing that hit me earlier in the week this week is that I'm glad to be at the end of the official no more buying stuff stage.
Yeah.
And my main reasons for doing this challenge was to save some money, which has gone on the console, and to change my spending habits. And, you know, that's definitely happened. I've proved that I don't need to rush out and buy something on day one, ignoring Destiny.
Yep.
And the Steam sale, you know, that ruins people's wallets because everyone has that mindset of, yeah, but at that price, you'd be stupid not to buy it. But this is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've got out of the habit of even having that thought enter my mind because I've accumulated so much crap because of vague interest or word of mouth. And I guess for me, the big thing is I have no intention of buying a game just to own it. I'm going to buy a game if I'm going to play it, and more importantly, I'm going to buy a game if I'm going to play it now. Because if I'm not going to play it for 3 or 4 weeks, I can buy it in 3 or 4 weeks. It's still going to be there. So it just means that I'm not going to have that stack of games sitting there glaring at me. And when I've done my 2 lists this year, I did my physical list and I did my digital list. The majority of games I've played have been physical. The ones that I've played off the hard drive have generally been the larger file size ones, and that's usually because once I've played them, I can delete them and free up some much needed space. But going forward, I can see that we are now at the generation where people are more accepting of the freedom to just, particularly with the Xbox One, just saying Xbox on. Apologies if anyone's got their Xbox now running in the background there. But they're more accepting of just telling the console, load up and then select that game, than having to get up and, maybe walk to a shelf to then select a game to then put it in the drive. Having the instant access rather than going off to get it. I think we are at that stage where people are beginning to change that mindset from physical to digital. And if there is a new generation to approach in 5 or 6 years, I think most people will have gone completely digital, or at least, more like 80-20 rather than the 50-50 that we seem to have now.
I have to be honest, I picked up FIFA digitally because apart from getting the EA Access discount and stuff, it's one of those games. It's easier to have it there all the time, so because I can play the odd game here or there. And then I also figured by the time I'm done with it, the new one will be just around the corner and it will be worthless to trade in. So what's the point? I may as well just have it digitally and enjoy it, make it a bit easier for myself. So I think you're right. That shift's definitely occurring.
Well, the other thing you've got is there's a lot more indie games now.
Yeah.
Over the past 12 months, you've looked at the likes of Journey, Thomas Was Alone, things like that aren't sold physical.
Mm-hmm.
They're only digital online. And people are buying them, people are downloading them, they're playing them, and off they go.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the thing that with the smaller games, people don't really have too much of an issue doing it, whereas a larger game, they need to feel that they own it.
Yeah.
That maybe that's why some people do still hold on to, I must have physical. The only other thing that makes a big difference is, as we've said with Steam already, is the sales. That, I can't speak for what the Xbox sales are, but sometimes the PlayStation games do go on at stupidly low prices, and then you get your extra discount for being a Plus member, which most people will be. So you can pick up some really cheap games, as opposed to waiting to spot it in the second-hand store or something like that. But the other thing that I wanted to say is it's been a great experience for me to do this challenge, because it just has changed the way I look at things, and I've played some really, really good games over the last 12 months, and I've played some games that normally I would never consider Ride to Hell.
And we'll never consider again.
And now that it's over, I don't feel like I'm obligated to play games. I mean, my normal day is go to work, come home, maybe watch TV for an hour or two, and then think, I've got to play some more games because I need to finish them, because that's the whole point of the Year of Shame.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I didn't really suffer like the inevitable gamer burnout, but I did have times where I was, like South Park, I was finishing it for the sake of finishing it. I wasn't finishing it because I was particularly engrossed with the game or, having any real interest in it at that point. But just going through the motions of pressing the buttons of, how to win a fight and getting on with it, because I knew I could beeline straight to the finish. Assassin's Creed 3, as I said, was really dull. But I managed to finish that. I've shown, I think, a lot more determination of
not abandoning games than I previously had. Because like BioShock, when I tried that a few years ago, it really wasn't my sort of thing, and I put it away. In fact, I got rid of it. So I only went back and got it because I had BioShock 2 and BioShock Infinite 1+.
Yeah.
Now, as I say, now I'm going to buy a game that I want because I'm going to play it now, and I'm not going to be dragged along with crazes going forward of everyone hyping up a game and then it potentially not being quite what people expect.
What you want, yeah.
You guys have said Destiny's not really been what you were perhaps sold it to be. And I know a lot of people have said now's the point at which they're pretty much giving up with it. But then you speak to other people and they can't get off it.
Yeah.
It's very much a case of play the games that are good for you. And like with movies, there's some movies that you might really love and they are awful films, but you love them in spite of that or because of that.
Yeah.
Preference, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I could actually appreciate Ride to Hell. Not so much enjoy it, but I could appreciate it. Whereas Colm was already, getting nauseous and wanting to snap the disc in half.
Yeah.
So, well, who wants to go next?
You pretty much said everything.
Well, yeah, I mean, all right. Well, I'll hand it back to you because you said that that we seem to echo a lot of similar things.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad it's over. And then, like you said, it's kind of, despite my crazy burst with Destiny, it has changed my thinking and buying habits around games. I'm not going to rush to get every single, this is the next big, greatest thing. I don't think you need to. You end up playing a lot of games that you don't really care about. And that's it. I'm looking forward to buying some more new games after this recording / next week. The other thought I've had, I'm really glad I got in touch with you, Justin. Because it was kind of on a whim, because you talked about Last Save Loaded, and I was like, I fancy doing that. Why not having someone to share it with? Yeah,
and by the same token, at that point, Colm was sort of mentioning on Twitter, oh, well, I might try and do this. And I said, well, when don't you join us? And I think I got the impression you were perhaps a little bit shocked and surprised with Colm, but hopefully you'll agree it's been a great thing to have done.
It's a great experience, yeah. It really has, yeah. It's been a great for me. It has. I've really had it. I haven't taken myself too seriously, and obviously not. But it has stopped me from buying more games. I know that's hard to believe, but there was certain days when I'd go in and say, no, I'm not getting that. But obviously there was more bad days than good days, but still, I would have probably bought more, even though I did fail miserably. And so yeah.
But it's what you personally have got out of it. How many Steam games did you have before you started the challenge? You said yourself it was a case of Steam sale would open and I'd just go, okay, yeah, I'll have that.
Yeah.
And you were almost doing it without thinking. At least now you're giving it attention to, do I even want this?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my Steam games aren't so bad. I have a lot more games on the PS3 and the Xbox than I would on Steam. Because I wasn't really a PC gamer up until about a year and a half ago, that type of thing. I still don't play PC games that much, but no, it has. The thing I really got out of this year is the crack and the banter we've had, but the games I've played games that I would never have played.
Yeah,
Deus Ex. Ride to Hell, we won't mention that, but and Dragon Age, games that I would never have completed, and I've completed. So I'm glad that for that reason alone I did it.
Yeah, and then there's been other things like, you got into Child of Light and put a lot of time.
Brilliant, yeah. So I even though I haven't finished that many games, I'd say I've finished a lot more than I probably would have.
Looking back, where do you feel you spent the most time playing? Like, because you played quite a few on the Wii U, you've obviously got your Xbox One at the end of the challenge, but you had your 360 for most of it. Where do you feel that you felt the most draw to play a game?
The Wii U is probably the one console I actually love playing, or the Wii. It's the one console I actually feel relaxed playing on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel more stressed out when I'm playing a first-person shooter or something like that. For some reason I don't know. It just annoys me.
Yeah, well, it makes sense because if you've got the tablet there, you can sit back in the chair. You can, hold it as if you're going to hold a tablet itself, and you're much more relaxed. If you're playing a shooter, you're probably hunched forward. You're focusing, and it is. I can totally see why that would be the case.
Yeah, I've got into role playing games more so. From that, rather I'm gone away from first person shooters really at this stage. So, and FIFA as well. I haven't enjoyed a FIFA game in 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, but surely that's down to your son kicking your butt.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, even tonight now he had FIFA. He got FIFA 15 today.
Yeah,
and. He said, "Come on, Dad, you haven't played FIFA in 2 weeks with me, this bribery crap." So I went up and played it. I was just, the dribbling was more enjoyable, but it was just, can't be bothered, But he only beat me 1-0, so it wasn't too bad,
You're probably learning the controls again.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so, yeah, I've really enjoyed it now, and I have to say now, it's been a great experience. And,
Yeah,
I think we'll all echo what you've said though. That what you said earlier, the people that have been listening to the show, that have been interacting with us, that have been winding us up, supporting us, trying to goad us into doing things. It's that alone has been worth doing it. And I've had some people,
and even their own funny stories as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had plenty of people sort of saying to me, "Why are you doing this? Just, if you want to go off and get a new game, just get the game." I'm like, "No, I can't do that until, the end of next month." And they're like, "Why not?" I'm like, "A Year of Shame challenge." "Well, that's ridiculous." I'm like, "Yeah, but nevertheless, that's what I'm doing." And just like hearing that people just send us emails month after month. Yeah. It really does
spur you on, doesn't it?
Exactly, yeah. And I'm in a way, I guess I am gutted that I haven't gone to London this weekend, because if I'd met some of the people that do send in their emails and their tweets and whatever, I'd be really happy to thank them all personally. So I will use this opportunity to say thank you. And we put out tweets last night saying we're going to be recording tonight. You've got 24 hours to get your comments in, and I think we've all been a bit surprised by exactly how much has come in.
Yeah, some very lengthy emails. People want to get their last word in, I guess.
Yeah,
it's very humbling.
Well, should we get on with these then?
Let's get them over with.
Okay.
So
I'm not sure, Justin, what you have for the first.
Okay, the first one
after
I've got.
Colm, I have Connor.
That's it. I'll read Connor's first then.
Okay.
So, hi guys. Firstly, well done to all three of you for making it through 12 months of near game purchasing abstinence. I was a bit late to the podcast party, but managed to binge listen through your previous 11 episodes and thoroughly enjoyed your discussions, especially the Colm's confessional emails, which we've all enjoyed. And there's been many a person has said it's been their highlight of the show. So, whilst it's been fun for us to wind you up over that, Colm, the fact that you actually sat down to send me and Adam an email going, I've done this. It was brilliant. So he goes on, I've been thinking for a while about doing something to tackle my rapidly expanding PlayStation pile of shame, especially given the fact I'm becoming a father for the first time in December, and I'll be totally brassic. So I announced on joypadandme.com's Jamcast, the Joypad and Me cast, episode 58, I finally announced my Year of Shame challenge by stating that my last purchase was going to be the Destiny Collector's Edition. I'm currently working off my first post for joypadandme.com, featuring my list and the rules I'm going to follow, which I've stolen from you guys wholesale. I hope you don't mind. Well, we've all got slightly different rules, so yeah. I don't mind. So he asks, how quickly do you feel the year has gone?
Quick.
Yeah. It really doesn't seem like 12 months ago. But then, I spoke to my father at the weekend last week, and he said, well, you were only off at Eurogamer last year. I can't believe it's 12 months already. I'm like, well, yeah, it's been interesting.
Uh-huh. It has been. I think it's gone fast. Maybe it's because I had a lot going on in regular life as well, but it's definitely, for me, it's flown by. I can't believe. Every time the month came round, I was like, what? We're recording again?
Colm, you must have felt it was, oh God, it's another month. I've got to write another email.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. I'm aiming for my challenge to change my purchasing habits and feel the next few months could either make or break it for me, given the huge releases due especially in November. How do you guys find silly season? Well, silly season was at the start of our challenge, and for me, because of the fact that we had started this just before the new consoles came out, it meant that silly season was kind of missed for me. I paid no attention to it. Plus the fact that I was all confident of, I'm not going to buy anything, so I'm not even going to pay attention to what comes out in the shops. It just didn't enter my mind. It wasn't until sort of Christmas time that I even started being aware that people were talking about playing this, like Dark Souls 2 coming out and things like that, in sort of February, March time, that a lot of people were playing on consoles that I had access to. Mm-hmm. But I think even back then it got to the point where I kind of had adopted this thought of, if I can't play it now, I guess I'll see if anyone's still playing it when I can play it later on in the year. Obviously we're about to go into silly season now, and it'd be very easy to go on a massive binge and go, yay, let's go off and pick up all the latest. But I've got a year's worth of games to catch up on already, so I've already got a new backlog.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Colm, just on that note, is that why you're not starting until January? You don't want to just go whole hog and carry back into it? Is it because you want to have silly season and get it out of your system?
Well, I just want to give the listeners a bit of a break too, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to continue on to Colm's confessionals, and I'm not actually. I have no plans to buy anything. Just try to give it a break, But the only game I want to play is Dragon Age,
You're going to need to have a bit of organisational setup anyway, won't you, to get your new crew together?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
So, yeah.
Well, don't worry. When you've got your show set up, we'll make sure that that all the links and everything go out from the YoS2 Twitter account, so people will know where they can get YoS3 at.
Thank you.
No problem. So, what do you feel was the hardest part of the whole year?
For me, it would be just after I got the Xbox One for Christmas. And I just wanted, to buy everything. So then every single thing that appeared on the store, I'd be like, I could buy this. I could get this. Yeah, that would be mine.
I'm guessing Colm's was, what excuse can I use next?
Pretty much, yeah.
The hardest part of the whole year was the end of every month. Not with excuses.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Hardest part of the year for me, I think it's probably been the last month or so. You know, seeing the end in sight.
Yeah.
I think if I hadn't had PlayStation Plus access, then maybe I would have suffered a bit more than what I did. But I guess because there was still new games coming in, looking back, I kind of feel like I cheated because I was getting more access to more games than what I was having a chance to clear off. That wasn't really a hard part of the year. It was just the fact that I think I got to a point where I didn't know what I wanted to play next, and I was just, you know, I had a period this week of 2-3 days of not playing anything because I just thought, I don't know where I want to focus my time now.
That's why I ended up on Steam Roulette, exactly the same reason.
I think everybody's the same. Everybody feels the same. Once they complete a game, then they, you know, give myself a break, or, you know.
Well, I worked out earlier in the year that if I'd spent a lot of time on a driving game like when I did on Grid 2, that the next game I was going to play was going to be a completely different type of game because it's a refreshing experience rather than play a, you know, puzzle platformer by another puzzle platformer. And yeah, I'm glad I didn't do it like that. But next question: do you feel the YoS challenge has been a worthwhile experience? I would wholeheartedly say yes. It definitely has changed the way I approach things, and it's given me a lot more people that I can talk to these days. My Twitter people that I follow, people that I interact with, has gone up. You know, it's practically doubled in the last year.
Yeah, same here. For that reason alone, it's been worth it. Like, yeah, just that becoming part of a greater community sort of thing. It's been worthwhile.
Colm?
Yeah.
I thought you were building up to go, no, it's been
not from well, the challenge itself hasn't been good for me. Well, it has been good, but I failed miserably. But
but it's the experience,
the interaction, and the Twitter, and the experience. Yeah, the experience has been great. Yeah, and you know, this has been my first podcast, so.
And you know, and I've spoken to you about that a few times, and people will, any podcast show, if they go back to listen to the first few shows of episode 2 of series 2 on Last Save Loaded, where I was starting out, everyone has the time when they're not confident, they don't feel that they deserve the time when other people are asking them questions, and you get to that point where you're like, no, I'm on this show and I'm bloody well going to talk.
Yeah.
Did you manage to reduce your piles? Well, the cream isn't really working.
You already kind of did the math.
What games do you feel you'd wished you played earlier from your piles? Okay, so yes, I do not think I've cleared my piles. Physical games, yes. Digital, definitely not. I've wished I'd played The Last of Us probably last year when everyone was talking about it. I wish I'd played Tomb Raider earlier, but when everyone was talking about it. It's been hard to remain spoiler-free, but I've done that, and I'm getting the experience now that everyone who hears I'm playing these games is going, yes, you're going to love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've played some long games, just.
Yeah.
You've played some really long games. Like
I'm glad I played and finished Final Fantasy 13. I'm glad I got that out of my system.
Yeah.
But, you know, I still have... That's my my Final Fantasy 10 for the Vita there. That is still sealed. From my birthday.
Right, yeah.
I daren't try and start that. I don't want to be in another Persona edition. Well, there you go. I'll be getting Persona 4 Ultimax edition, and then Persona 5 next year. Luckily, Persona 5 is coming to PS4. Yay! But I could have played it on PS3 as well, because I'm not getting rid of that. Anyone else got anything that they wish they'd played earlier?
Mine would be Binding of Isaac.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really ended up getting into that, and I'm already thinking, like, I might want to buy Rebirth when that comes out in November.
You do know that's already guaranteed to be on PlayStation Plus.
PlayStation Plus on PS3 as well, though?
Certainly Vita and 4. I don't know about 3. But if you look at the... They did a post on PS Blog for America, and it was on there.
Oh, okay.
But you could just wait and find out when it comes out in November anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Should just wait. But yeah, that would be my one, because I really got into it.
And I didn't get myself a chance to really get into it because of my controller issues.
Yeah. Which is, I can understand that. Like, it is hard to get to grips with. So I don't blame you for that.
Colm?
Not really, no. Just probably Dragon Age.
Well, you wish you'd finished it earlier. You've been playing it for years.
Yeah. No, that's it. Really.
Are there any games you wish you'd just ditched? Well, there's so many games I've played that I'm stubborn and I will finish. So I've talked every month and Colm's gone, have you played any games you've liked? So I'm not going to answer that because, yes, there are some games, but I'm not going to go back and name any specific ones. I don't wish I ditched Ride to Hell because that was an experience from start to finish.
It's an experience.
But, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, I said last month, I could see how a lot of people did ditch it when they got to the first real kind of boss fight thing. But that's probably it. What about you, Adam?
No, I ditched the one that I wanted to ditch. Bully. I don't think there's anything else I stuck with that I didn't want to finish, kind of. I'd say Bully. I should have ditched it sooner. It wasn't fun. So Bully would be mine. Colm.
Just no. Apart from Hell Retribution, but no, not really. I would have ditched that if I wasn't doing the Year of Shame. Definitely would have.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So.
That's
okay.
it.
Well, thank you very much, Connor. Good luck with your challenge. So, yeah, he finishes with, thanks for the great entertainment and inspiration to take up my own Year of Shame challenge. All the best, and don't go purchasing crazy now it's all over. Yeah, it's a bit late for that. So,
yeah. Look forward to hearing him. I'm sure he'll be on their podcast still in the year to come, so it'll be interesting to hear how he gets on.
We got an email from Stylistic Pottery. Well, gents, the end is near, and I'm both happy and sad. Happy to see the back of the challenge, but sad that it's the last Year of Shame show. I think most of us have learned something over the past year about our purchasing habits, and hopefully we can at least carry some of them forward in the future and not end up in the same position in a year or two's time. I'm in two minds whether to take up another challenge like the one Justin Darren Ragnar is doing and putting aside £1 a week after my initial blowout, of course. My first purchase being Forza Horizon 2 on the Xbox One, and it drops at this perfect time, as like yourself, Justin. I have taken the first 2 weeks off in October and can't wait to get some serious gaming time in.
Wise man.
I'm also looking forward to year 3 with Colm and Howard, trying not to fail as badly as they have previously. Anyway, best of luck everyone for the future, and don't go back to the old ways, or in Colm's case, try to restrain yourself from those bargain bin buys and the gifts for any occasion you can think of. Best wishes, Alan. Yeah. That's nice.
I love the way how you get a pat on the back, but you still get a dig.
A dig, yeah.
Yeah. Well. I'm used to it. Next.
Matt Marsh. Seeing as he was from N Europe, I came via me, we'll go with him. So he said, great work on your YoS challenges. I'd like to know if Colm spent more on games this year than last year. with his saving up and then near monthly blowouts on games compared to a steady stream of buying before. What do you reckon, Colm?
It's a close call now, I have to say. I'd say there's not much in the difference, to be honest with
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
Have any of you bought launch titles on the current gen, or have you gone for more recent games? I guess we kind of answered that as we've gone along. It's been a mixture.
I've obviously got a copy of Killzone Shadowfall, which is a launch game. So I've got my console a year late, but I have got a launch game with it.
Yeah. He goes on to say, I'm trying to extend my challenge until February when Bloodborne is released. So that's the Dark Souls-esque game, yeah?
Yeah.
Demon Soul, made by the Demon Souls guys. Thanks for all the great shows, and I'll see you on the PS4 for some multiplayer next year. So cheers, Matt, and otherwise known as Dodgy123. And I guess we have to say thanks to him because he shared some hilarious stories about buying arcade machines and buying PS4s. And
playing Borderlands with Colm.
Yeah. So it's all been good. So thanks, Matt. So that was Matt's email.
Thank you very much. I will. I'll get you on my PS4 friends list when I get it activated. Because you guys are not PS4s, or not PS4 owners, I should say. Currently,
one day maybe.
Well, I'll go with Stuart Cullen then, Fury Ace or Fury AC3. The after his motivational tweets telling me to go out and buy my damn PS4. So boys, it's all over. After 12 months of pain, the end is here. It's been a great year of listening. There's been highs and lows, and in general, a good time has been had. I find myself writing this mail at 20 to 12 as the train I'm on pulls out of Glasgow Central, London bound for, yes, Eurogamer and the feast of gaming goodness. And on this glorious day, I find myself listening to the last show and thinking about the torment that you boys have gone through, or I've put you through. It's been another great year of shame, and I hope that you three continue to cast in some shape or form. And with the rumours of a third year on the horizon, the legacy will continue. Who knows, you may get a big dumb Fury on board. So all that's left to say is hats off to you, Justin, Adam and Colm. Thanks for the monthly entertainment, and you'll be missed. Now back to gaming, hard boys. Hang on.
Wait, hard boys there?
Now back to gaming, hard boys.
You put the wrong intonation on there, didn't you?
Yeah.
Gaming hard boys.
Classic.
And then please consider the environment for printing this email. That's right. It was on the IDKFA podcast back in the day. They anyone that ever sent an email that said sent from my iPhone, they'd always read it at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
So I used to write into them saying sent from my toilet. Thank you, Stuart. And I hope you are rocking out your stylish shirts as you wear every year. And he's actually taken his other half with him to Eurogame this year, so I hope she's she's not too out of depth and is enjoying herself too.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, who have we got next?
We've got Sean Cullen.
Okay. We can read that one out. Jesus. Okay, it's a long one.
That's what she said.
Okay.
Oh, yep. Dear.
Heyo. Hello once more. First, I'd like to apologise for making Colm the repeated objects of jokes in my last email. It seemed like harmless ribbon while I was writing, but by the time it was read near the end of the show, it felt like piling it on.
Yeah, it's no problem.
That's okay. It's all water off a duck's back at this point with you, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
That's for me. To that end, I'd like to disclose my biggest mea culpa in my YoS challenge to date. I mentioned jonesing for Madam 15 the last time, and since then I was done buying Since then, I was doing fine, resisting its siren call until a friend of mine mentioned it among a list of PS4 games she had recently picked up. At that point, as if controlled by an outside entity, I was driving to GameStop to get me a copy. It was like making a drunken purchase, except I was completely sober, though not without regret one feels about after the fact. Making it worse was that I'd spent an extra $10 for the Ultimate Edition, the code for which doesn't seem to work. How embarrassing. I can relate to him there. I had my Destiny moment. It's fine. This is worse than my odyssey involving a long drive and rental fees just to be able to play the first sequence in South Park, The Stick of Truth. Of course, that was one we debated at length.
Yes.
About cost to drive, whether it was worth it.
Yeah.
So, there's also an epilogue to this tale. During that weekend, I'd done a fair bit of spending around town, and when I checked my account on Monday, I found my impulse purchase put the balance in the red by a few dollars. I could have made a quick deposit to rectify the matter, but I decided as penance for my abysmal choices to let the bank penalise me with their one-time fee. That is incredible. Respect to him, I guess, for deciding to let the bank fine him. Anyway, we go on. The worst bit of this is it puts into doubt my ability to pick up the new gen GTA 5 in November unless I wind up receiving a conveniently timed $60 gift from a previously unknown half-sibling, or perhaps a present from a known family member to celebrate the anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, as I'm sure people do all the time. That sounds like a dig. Who was it? Was it Matt? Was it Dodgy123 that had the half-sister who bought the stepbrother something? Or
Oh, yeah. I thought that was Sean, no?
I can't remember. There's so many tales. You forget them, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think it was Sean Colm.
It comes across as rude, but...
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I spent a few nights at work binging through the first 11 episodes in this series, in which you described all the way you'd managed to circumvent your own YoS challenge rules. Don't get me wrong, it was fun reviewing your progress/regress. While doing this, I decided when this challenge ends next January, I'll be trying Mr. Knowles' $1 a day challenge described in a previous episode. In doing so, I hope to add an emphasis on finishing games outside my comfort zone. That more than the occasional impulse buy is my biggest failing so far. I retain one joker option. Talk to me, Bethesda. But I won't be banking funds in my Xbox Live and PSN accounts beforehand, so as to maintain some level of challenge. Maybe by doing it this way, I'll spend less time gaming the system and more times actually playing games. So yeah, congrats on the year, and thanks for providing a window by which to view your descent into this madness. Enjoy the games you'll be playing and buying guilt-free once more. Sincerely, Stuart Cullen. Thank you very much, Stuart.
Yeah, thank you, Stuart. It's
what a great email.
Yeah, you probably need a drink now, don't you?
Yeah, somebody else go reading.
Sean Cullen, wasn't it? Okay. Oh, I'll do one. I'll do
Kevin's.
Yeah, good old Kev, yeah. Hi guys, hope you get this before you finish recording. Yeah, right. But I just want to drop a quick message to say a big thank you to you all for entertaining me and everyone else for the last year. It's been great. Congratulations to each of you, regardless of how well you did throughout the year. Some better than others. Okay, we know who that's about. I've seen tweets about a year of Shame Challenge 3. I hope this goes ahead. Anyway, thanks for the entertaining shows over the last year and enjoy your first purchase. Kev. Sent from my Windows phone.
You're getting in on that as well,
yes. Thank you, Kev.
Thank you. Yeah, and again, one of the people that's been helping us out with messages to the show all the way through the challenge. So,
yeah,
thank you. Okay, so we midway through setting up to record tonight, we also got an email through from Justin Knowles, who said, "I just wanted to congratulate you on achieving your year of shame, or in one case, month of shame. The dig's still
Right to the end. Doesn't matter how good you do next year, people will still defend your digs.
Also, to thank you for all the entertainment. Can't wait for season 3. So what are your plans for next year? Anyone planning to take up my $1 a day or pound or euro challenge? Sent from my iPhone. So I have previously said I quite fancy doing this. I'm not going to be doing it in any strict terms, but I think I could easily set myself a £1 a day limit. So sort of, well, I might just round it and say £30 a month, because there's more months with 31 days than there are 30 or less. So I'm just going to say £30 a month will be my savings for games, and I'm not to impulse buy out of my pocket.
Yeah. I'm not going to do any of that.
You're just going to live comfortably.
Yeah, but I am going to try and... I still think I need to combat the backlog. So I'm going to try and finish 2 games for every one I buy. So clear 2 games off the backlog and then buy a new game. So I'm at least clearing 1 game for every new game I buy, sort of. Like doubling up, I guess.
Yeah.
And at that rate, I'll finish my backlog by about 2025. Current rate. So, yeah.
Classic.
So that put me at, 41 I'll have finished.
There you go. There you are already.
God.
We also had the odd tweet come in. We did have one come through from Welsh Benno saying, for the entertainment over the last 12 months, it's been an absolute privilege listening to you guys. And I look forward to listening to you, Howard, personally.
I do.
If you stick to your guns and get on with Colm, then...
I hope he does.
Yeah, I think everyone's going to be looking forward for that spontaneous falling off the cliff.
Yep.
We'll all prove you wrong.
I would love that. You
So
can do
would
a
I.
better job than us. Between the two of you two, if you somehow manage to do a better job, then fair play to you.
Well, that's the plan.
Okay, cool. So...
That looks like it, guys.
I don't sound so disappointed, Carl.
Oh, no, sorry. There is another. We've got one from Darren, from host of last month's show. And he said, this was aimed at you, Colin, but
no.
he did say, pretty please post a picture of your first shirt.
Oh, yeah, I will, yeah. I could have posted that today. I had a pretty good one today. Yeah, but we'll wait and see.
I was tempted to, when I went off to go and get the PS4, I was tempted to do the inevitable, here it is on the behind a car seat belt.
Classic. Brilliant.
But then I thought, I don't have any Pepsi cans to do it with either.
It's a classic.
It is.
That's a classic here of shame.
But I did come home and then put the picture out to a couple of people saying, yeah, this may be in my house, and they gave me a poster with it as well for going to the midnight launch.
Okay, cool. Were there lots of people at the midnight launch?
Oh, it's queuing out the door. There was a queue to get in to pay, to then join the queue to take your receipt and actually collect it.
Oh,
so by the time I got to the front, and they realised that I'd ordered the console bundle, and they're like, yeah, we're going to have to go off and find that. And then they came down with this box from upstairs, and it's like, yeah, there you go. But there was people picking up Xbox One bundles. And, yeah, there was all sorts. Obviously, people getting their Ghost editions, and man, that little Ghost, it talks to you.
Does it?
Yeah, the people that bought the physical Ghost, so they get like the little crate. Yeah, it talks.
Oh, okay.
It says things.
Cool.
For €150 to want to talk. Trust me.
Well, if it keeps them happy.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting late and the sun's so do you want to wrap this up?
Yeah. So I guess this is our last regular show, guys. as last year did do a aftermath show, whatever you want to call it, we will probably be back at some point to tell you how we're getting on. So for one last time, though, in the meantime, until we do the aftermath, where can people find us on Twitter, Colm?
In your local game shop, looking at the games. And also at Solemn67.
And Justin, where can people chat to you?
I will be at Onya6.
And I am at Flameboy84, and at YoS Challenge 2 will still be open for business.
Yeah.
As will the email address of yoschallenge2@gmail.com.
It's going to be sad. Thank you.
I know. It's emotional.
So, yes, from, sincere thank you to everyone who has joined us, listened in. We've had people downloading the show within minutes of me releasing it. And, you'd wake up the next day and you'd already have a few people winding you up over it.
But there was no better feeling than waking up to like 15 tweets. And it's like, okay, new episode must have gone up overnight then. Because what with the time delay and stuff, I'd often miss it going up until like the next day. So yeah, no greater feeling than waking up to 1 million tweets. And it's what kept us going.
Yeah.
You've all made it more entertaining.
Yeah.
So,
go
on.
Yeah, and I hope that some of the listeners, in interacting with us, have made other Twitter friends as a result of it.
I feel like people have. There's been conversations. I haven't replied to a lot of them because there were just people tagging the YoS account in them.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily at us. They were talking to each other whilst quoting us, sort of thing, or atting us. So yeah, it was nice. So guys, we're gonna have to say bye. We can't keep putting it off. I'm sorry. So, bye guys. It's been fun. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye
very
bye.
much.
Good night.
Bye.